Hello and welcome back to another deck flip through. I am so excited to have the Witch Sister Tarot. I had one full gift card left and a portion of another one left, and I had decided I was going to wait, even though I still had decks on my wish list, because I had received several decks recently and felt that was enough for the time being. And this deck, some of the card names have been changed, and then the imagery doesn't follow the traditional RWS imagery. So I was thinking, with me being new, I should probably wait a minute on this deck until I'm a little more experienced. Well, this deck and one other deck, I just couldn't get off my mind. I kept thinking about them and really wanting them. I waited a few weeks and decided, nope, I'm going to get them. I mean, it comes with a book, so if I need assistance, I have the book, right? So I'm so excited to finally have this Witch Sister Tarot by Julia Jeffrey. This is a Llewellyn book. Fly into the heart of tarot with your witch sisters. Thrumming with the power of Celtic legends and kindred spirits, this hauntingly beautiful deck captures the bold and mysterious nature of witchcraft. Julia Jeffrey's evocative artwork reimagines the Rider-Waite-Smith system into a world of iconic witches, magical familiars, and extraordinary stories. The full-color guidebook shows you how to invoke the aid of deities, connect with the elements, and make magic in your readings. Each card inspires a profound sense of chosen family, through which you'll find boundless wisdom and your sisters in tarot. The magic of the ancestors beats in your blood. Feel its power and free your wild soul. Beautiful. All right, and I think I'm going to, this may be a little lengthy video. Instead of just flipping through, I think it would be fun, at least for some of the cards, to refer to the book, at least for a couple sentences. So we have full color pages. Introduction. As this is the Witch Sister Tarot, it seems fitting that the very first word of this introduction, as, was just typed by the wandering paws of my cat, Elfrida Beetle, while she trampled across my keyboard. So we go over tarot origins, first steps, Witch Sister as part of the tarot tradition, the origins of the folklore, histories, and traditions that feed into the theme of this particular deck are Celtic, with a special focus on those from Scotland, mainly because this is my homeland. The Witch Sister Tarot shares the familiar structure that goes right back to the Visconti deck. With 4 suits, it goes on about how it breaks it down. The 4 suits are trees, waters, skies, and stones. Trees are wands, waters are cups, skies are swords, and stones are pinnacles. The Gathering. The Major Arcana. Okay. So let's check out the deck. And it is glossy, not as glossy as some, but it is glossy. And we have this gorgeous Scottish thistle on the back of the cards. The Fool. Oh, I love her. These cards are just... I'm so grateful to finally get to see these in person. I love how she's crouched down. You know, she's not ready to step off a cliff, but she's crouched down and she looks like she's ready to pounce into the next stage of her life. Pounce into action. Beautiful. The Magician. And let's see why we have the Buck as the Magician. The stag is like the god of the Scottish witches. During the 15th to 17th centuries in Scotland, while the witch hunting fever raged, rich and privileged men were also carving up the common land and taking it for their own private use. Let's see. It is easy to see how the stag, once the free lord of the forest, and now made the prey of the prosperous few, could come to symbolize the sovereignty, power, and connection to the wild land that the people had also been robbed of. The significance of the stag goes back much, much further. They are also to be found in Pictish stone carvings around Scotland. And archaeological evidence has led historians and folklorists to speculate about the existence of ancient deer cults in the Scottish Highlands. And then it also has a divinatory meaning. Oh, and I forgot to say, for those that it bothers, nudity warning. There is some nudity in this deck. And next we have Nick Nevin. And if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize. So instead of the High Priestess, we have Nick Nevin, and she is the Great Witch Queen of Scottish folklore. And his highly... Okay, let's see. Sir Walter Scott connects Nick Nevin with the Greek witch goddess Hecate, and also with the wild hunt and the fairy raid. As well as the name of this mythological figure, Nick Nevin is also the title of a role within historical Scottish witch covens, equivalent to High Priestess. Shadow and moonlight are her domain. And next we have the Queen of Elfame. That's the name there. Let's see. This is a fairy queen. Fairy encounters are a recurring theme in witch trial testimonies. One of the most outstanding examples is the testimony of Bessie Dunlop of Ayrshire, who was visited by the Queen of Elfame herself, disguised as an old beggar woman. Bessie was granted a familiar spirit who assisted her for years in remarkable acts of healing magic. Isabel Gowdy also speaks of her coven visiting the Queen and King of Faerie, where they feasted within a hollow hill. Gowdy describes the Queen as dressed all in white in the most exquisite courtly fashion of the day, which was in the 17th century. This fairy queen's complex and challenging charms are also celebrated in the well-loved Scottish ballads of Tam Lin and Thomas the Rhymer. And instead of the Emperor, we have the Tree of Life. In the time of our ancestors, much of Scotland was covered by the ancient Caledonian forest. Now there are only scattered remnants, but it is still possible deep in the woods to feel echoes of what it must have been like. Celtic legend is rich in magical trees, from the 9 hazels dropping nuts into the pool for the salmon of knowledge, to the Eildon tree opening a door to the underworld for Thomas the Rhymer. It is said that in ancient Ireland, when a tribe cleared land to build a settlement, they would leave the the oldest, strongest tree at the center to hold the life of the tribe. And instead of the Hierophant, we have the tradition, and this just makes me think of ancestors, doesn't it? How beautiful. Inside the cave, it is dark and warm. Are our eyes closed? Are we awake or dreaming? At first it seems but a tiny distant spark. Then as she draws slowly nearer, we see, by her candle's flame, the strong face sculpted and furrowed by long experience. She has withstood many trials and weathered many seasons. And then, in the dancing, swirly smoke, she shows us more, so much more. I'm skipping ahead. If we are lucky, there are times and places when we can feel our ancestors around us. But now she comes to show us that they are always with us. Beautiful. That may end up being my favorite card. The Lovers. Oh. See, one of the things about this deck is how she does the facial expressions. The facial expressions are amazing. And I feel like when I look at this, I see the tenderness and the love expressed in how she drew their faces. It's beautiful. And then we have Flight instead of Chariot. Oh my gosh, look at this Strength card. I mean, you can see the strength and power emanating from her. I love it. The Hermit. I love her. She's got 2 different color eyes. Here we see, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but it's Gaelic for blue eye because she had 1 blue eye and 1 brown. She was a reclusive witch from Lochaber in the Scottish Highlands, greatly renowned for her superior power and skill. The Spinner of Threads. Traditionally, the Wheel of Fortune card is packed with diverse esoteric symbols. However, for the Witch Sister Tarot, it felt like something simpler and more tangible was needed. Wool, in many ways, is the raw stuff, the very fabric of life. Certainly in rural Scotland, for century upon century, sheep have been essential to the survival of the common folk. Tending the flock, sharing the fleeces, then cleaning, carding, and spinning the wool into yarn were skills that most country women would need to acquire. The dexterity and flair shown in woven and knitted textiles from the Highlands and Islands in particular are celebrated worldwide to this day. Justice. Wow, look at her. The Morrigan is one of the most compelling and complex figures in Celtic mythology. One of her many roles is to choose which warriors will die on the battlefield. She flies above with her crows and swoops down to touch those she has chosen. She and her sisters, Macha and Bava, also play a vital protective role, defending their land from invaders, wielding storms of sorcery to confuse the enemy. The Morgan can seem vengeful. She is certainly fierce and formidable, but she is also the great mother and treats her people with a mother's care, which includes a firm guiding hand. Stunning. The Initiation. Oh, this is cool looking. Here we find ourselves in the heart of the forest. All is still and dark. Then a glimmering of moonlight touches the prongs of antlers, and slowly a white stag is revealed among the tangled branches. In card number 1, The Magician, we first met this stag and learned of his deep symbolic meaning for the Scottish witches of old. Here he is transformed into the white stag, a creature of the other world, a herald of deep change, should we choose to follow his path. Death. Here we see the Celtic mother goddess, the Cailleach, revealed in both her summer and winter forms. For the 13th card in the Major Arcana speaks of life as well as death, and of the constantly repeating cycles of decay and renewal that we see in all nature. Flow. The flowing swirl of the spiral is the quintessential pattern in Celtic art, and speaks volumes of the skill, subtlety, and vision of their ancestors. The spiral is deceptive, seemingly so simple, yet containing so much meaning and perfection of form. Lord of the Forest. This golden green, the lifeblood of the forest, also lights up the eyes of its lord. His sweeping antlers soar up, arching toward the sunlight, filtering through the dense canopy above. He feels the pulse of the intricate root systems woven into the earth beneath him. He has always been here. The seasons roll around him, generation after generation of deer pass through. He sees the new fawn struggle to stand up on delicate shaking legs, and in the blink of an eye, he is racing them, now mighty stags. Elf Stroke. Scottish witch trial testimonies and folkloric accounts speak of witches firing elf shot, Neolithic flint arrowheads at their enemies. These weapons are described as having the quality of a thunderbolt. There is also a notion of fairy lore that the elf kind mark those humans they choose for their attention with a blue shadow across their face, and that being so marked out can bring great gifts, but may also cause affliction and even madness. The medical term stroke evolved from elf stroke, when it was thought that the paralysis and other sufferings were inflicted by angry elves whom a human victim had displeased. Ancient Starlight. Oh, look at her. She's beautiful. Deer have long been known in the Highlands of Scotland as fairy cattle, and there are many folk tales of supernatural women who tend them and can transform themselves into deer. Other tales tell of the Celtic mother goddess, the Cailleach, and her care for herds of wild beasts, primarily deer. She is seen in the depths of winter, wrapped in blankets and furs, driving her herds across the hills in search of food. The Moon Child. The moon holds a central place in the heart of anyone with an interest in magic. Its symbolic and practical importance in witchcraft cannot be overstated. Many goddesses from many different cultures all over the world are associated with the moon. In witchcraft, perhaps the best-known deity associated with the moon is the Greek goddess Artemis and her Roman counterpart Diana. There are shrines around Britain consecrated to local moon goddesses said to be linked to Diana, who gives her name to the modern tradition of Dianic witchcraft. Celtic moon goddesses such as Rhiannon and Erenrod share characteristics with Artemis and Diana, including protection of virgins, women, and of all that is wild and untamed. The sun. Lunasa is the festival of the Celtic sun god Lugh, and it's still celebrated across Scotland and Ireland every August. It is a time of harvests and hand fastings, a time to celebrate life's pleasures, feel the sun on our skin, and perhaps choose a companion to wander through the fields with. Renewal. Hares are hugely important in Scotland witch lore. This small, slight young witch girl stands all in reverie. She seems as delicate and vulnerable as the leveret she cradles to her heart, but both will grow and become strong, swift, and agile as the mature green hair marked on her skin. Hair transformations are one of the most often recorded for shape-shifting witches. But life is not easy for the hare. Watching them in the fields, the girl is dazzled by the glory of their speed, grace, and vigor, but she knows they are hunted, as she may be too, if her magic is found out. Oh, I love this one too. The land. The veins standing out on her worn old hands are like the tough, gnarled roots of the heather. Her hair has grown white and heavy as the winter snows. She has tramped over these rugged mountain sides and herded her deer through forest and glens for eons, since the impossibly far-off days when she helped to shape this land. The Cailleach is the land, and the land is forever in her heart. Beautiful. And then I'm going to put the book away now. I just wanted to refer to it for some of the major arcana. And we'll just flip through the rest so that the video doesn't get too long. Ace of Trees, which is Wands. Two of Trees. And you'll notice with the twos, all of the twos are mirror images. Three of Trees. Oh, I love this card. And look at that little guy right there. He's so cute. Four of Trees. Five. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and instead of the page we have the Maid of Trees. And instead of knights, we have witch. So this is the Witch of Trees. And then we have the Queen. And our King. Ace of Waters. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, look at the expressions on their faces. I really love her art. 9, 10. Oh wow, look at her. And here's our Maid, our Witch, Queen, king. Wow, he really draws me in. Ace. Ace of Skies. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. And here's our maid, our witch, our queen, and our king. And then Ace of Stones. 2, 3, 4. Oh, they're so cute. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maid, queen, I'm sorry, witch, witch, queen, and our king. What a beautiful deck. And I feel like, let's see here. I was just wondering, do we watch the progression of them age as the suit goes? But maybe not. But all the 10s are definitely crones. Love it. Such a gorgeous deck. I cannot wait to use this deck. I'm so excited that I just went ahead and got it now. And thank you all for watching, and I hope that you all have a magical night. Bye.